I just seen that you were on, and I checked on the YouTube and seen that I was listening to the show, and I'm like, oh no.
Well, we got it back. Here we are. We're back live again on YouTube, so I'm going to have to put them two together somehow once I get this all done. So sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but here we are. We're back live on YouTube, so that's crazy. And now I got to get my Facebook thing back up. I lost everything here on this. I couldn't believe it. Look at that. And here we are. And I didn't even have to log back in. So there you go. We're sitting here talking about the Mandela effect, and I'm having the Mandela effect, I guess.
Hey, could be. You never know.
He does something. You know anything about it at all, Tim? Have you studied on it, or you know?
Well, I kind of do. You know, if I'm not mistaken, the Mandela effect is how one thing affects another thing, and brings about a big picture. Something like something to that effect. I'm not sure. I may be wrong. Is that right? Am I right about that? Or?
Well, no. Actually, the way it's described is it's when people have a certain well, how do I explain it? I guess so you can understand it better. Let's say you get 100 people together, and 30 out of those 100 people will say that Mandela died in prison, okay, back in 1992 or 93. And the other people say, no, he died at home 2013, okay. But those other 35 will say to you, swear up and down, I've seen it on TV, I know that it happened, and without a doubt they believe it. I mean, they would die before they ever changed their mind. That's what they're calling the Mandela effect.
Yeah. That's Nelson Mandela.
Right.
Okay, I was thinking along the Mandela pattern of the universe.
Oh, okay. Right.
Another thing. You know, that's what I, you know, when I hear Mandela, that's what. But now, as far as Nelson Mandela, I kind of followed that a little bit through the 90s. You know, when he was in prison, and through the 80s and 90s, early 90s, and then when he was released. Now, I followed it pretty much, and it looked like the same guy, you know, later on in the late 90s, you know, when he was, well, when they, I think it was in, let me think, 94 or 95, when apartheid took a hold in South Africa, and they brought about you know, the equality came about. That was in the I believe that was in the mid 90s, somewhere within the mid 90s there.
Right.
That was a great thing, you know, because, you know, in our day and time, you know, even though it was back in the 90s, you know, about 25 years ago or so, you know, 25, 30 years ago. No, it's 25 years ago, I guess. 21, no, 20 years ago. Anyhow, it brought about, there was a lot of, I couldn't believe that kind of stuff was going on in our world, where there was that much separation between the races, between the white people and black people, and although it was a predominantly black country, it was ruled by the kings of England and all that, you know, who set aside who created the government of South Africa. who helped create it, I should say. They didn't actually create it, they helped create it. So they, all that was going on, and there was so much separation, I mean, they had some really mean names for people, and they, well, for instance, a perfect example of that is Lethal Weapon 2, I believe it is, where the people, there was ambassador to South Africa, who was in California, and they were bringing in gold. They were working with gold and Cougarons, the money of South Africa, and you can tell in that movie just how they treated how they treated towards black people. They didn't consider them to be an equal or anything like that.
Right.
And it's sad. It's very, very sad that that people have that or kind of bred into that that lifestyle or that mindset.
Right.
Well,
here's the thing.
Be so cold towards other people.
Right. Well, what we're talking about tonight, as far as the Mandela effect, is the possibility of actually living between two parallel universes. That's what the Mandela effect is all about, and it was dubbed the Mandela effect because of what I just was talking about earlier, where some people think that he actually died, in the 90s, and other ones believe that he died, in 2013. And the woman that she's a paranormal research, dubbed it the Mandela effect because of that, So that's what that was all about. But hey, it looks like we got Sid with us here. Let me get him booted up real quick here, Tim. Hello, Sid. Is that you, sir?
Yes, it's great. How's everything?
Good, good. Haven't heard you in a little while. How you been?
Pretty good. Just doing research and editing the stories to produce new content every day, man.
Sure.
Great. I thought the Mandela effect is really that's a good topic.
So what do you know about it, or what have you learned, or you got any? Just give me some insight.
Well, it's very similar to cognitive dissonance that we have. Not that it is that, but it's very similar to it because, the Mandela effect is knowing something, even though people can still know that he died, millennia, but they think he, still died last millennia. It's just like Jiffy peanut butter. There's no such thing as Jiffy peanut butter.
Right.
It's only Jif peanut butter.
It's only
now,
Jif.
You can make the sandwiches Jif. So that's what made me think it's very akin to cognitive dissonance. I think it was Tim talking about the treatment of people in South Africa. Again, he's aware. So he's showing that he's aware, he knows what's happening. Another person, because right now it's common knowledge that apartheid was real, will use the Mandela effect or cognitive dissonance to be like, oh my goodness, I never knew they were treated that bad. And we know that that's ridiculous because we know it happened.
Right.
And we ourselves exhibit by saying that, oh my goodness, they were treated in Africa that bad, but in actuality, when we look at America, it is the apartheid there. You look at just not just Park Ghetto, but when you look at a place in Manhattan like Little Italy, Chinatown, that's segregation.
Right.
It's not based in like a Disneyland type of way. It's a small world. Go over here and visit Chinatown. Go over here and visit Harlem. And it's really that Mandela effect. I was thinking, I said, okay, you have the parallel universe thing, which definitely seems like reality. It also seems also more of a definition of people just living in a state like their own mind control. Like when stuff is happening today and people say, oh my goodness, it's so bad. And I said, well, I grew up in a police state here in America. I remember going to Texas, and the curfew was 10 p.m.
Right.
So 15, I said, you got to be out of your mind. I said, yeah, if you're under 21, you can't be outside. The cops will arrest you and take you, either to jail or to somewhere. And nobody cared about that. When I came back to New York, I was like, I didn't even care about telling the kids in New York, like, man, can you believe that Texas, you can't be out. It's illegal to be a kid outside at night, basically.
Right.
The Mandela effect let me forget about it. That's what let me forget about it. And then remember, I think there's still a curfew in Texas today.
Well, here's the thing about that, though. The way the Mandela effect would work would be, you would say, there's a curfew in Texas at 10 o'clock for kids. And somebody else would say, there never has been a curfew in Texas. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what would happen is, you would go look it up, and by golly, that guy was right. There never was a curfew in Texas. That's the Mandela effect, so to speak. That's... Yeah.
I can clearly see that, but also, like with the stuff like the advertising, like Jif peanut butter.
Right.
People think there's just
right.
It's spelled differently than it is spelled.
Right.
Those subliminal signs that give us the Mandela effect could also be very close to a type of cognitive dissonance. Is everything that we see in society today that we took for granted. The fact that Tim made a good point. They established a government. Now, we know that govern means to hold back, to restrict, and ment is the Latin word, meant it. So they installed a mind control, and that's what did it to them. So now our Mandela effect thinks that our government didn't do it to us.
Right. I don't know, did you hear my beginning? Yeah, did you hear the beginning of the show, Sid, where I was talking about how the conspiracy theories and stuff, and how I believe that there is a an actual bad entity that is pulling people apart, and that to me is how the Mandela effect actually works, or the parallel universe thing, that it persuades other people to go along with their way of thinking or whatever. It's kind of like the sheep following the sheep, and you got the good and the bad, or whatever, however you want to look at it. And when you have to stop and question yourself, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute, I just seen this, or
I didn't catch the first 20 minutes, I think, or like 25 minutes. So I remember calling, it was like around 7:30.
Right.
But yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. I mean, to me, that really, it kind of coincides with me thinking of, okay, there's other parts to myself that I don't even know existing. I have a subconscious that works, and I don't know how it's working. My conscious self right now does not know how my subconscious controls my breathing, my temperature.
Right.
There's another self there. The subconscious logic states that it must be a super consciousness as well. So we have a sub below, we will have a super above. That's the thing that can pull us to one another.
Right.
What you're saying about this entity or these things, it could be, without a doubt, some outside type of spiritual force that is meant to kind of steer us away from our course of thought. And it also could be something in our own minds as well that is a part of us as well. But one thing that I think we can all agree upon is that it doesn't reside in the physical universe. It's something in the universe of thought, like the non-touchable universe.
Right.
That does, yeah, I definitely see that. You're right.
Which, okay, and here's the thing. Now, I'm not.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I got to say this first in many times because just recently, okay, with all this going on with it's been building up to Ferguson, Missouri, the situation there, and then in Baltimore, and then in other cities now around the country,
Mm-hmm.
where you have the police are shooting unarmed citizens,
Right.
in particular unarmed black people. This is something that we don't really pay that much attention to it, and I haven't paid that much attention to it, but in just our conversation here, it has opened up that channel and kind of brought to light something that I guess in my conscience, or something that I thought about, something that I have thought about, but I haven't put too much into it because the way that the powers would be taught.
Right.
But you're right. Segregation in this country is alive and well, and it seems to me that the city officials in our government, in particular, allow this stuff to go on, allow this to take place, and it's kind of providing a separation of people in the state, or the people in the government. These are things that they tear down. In ways, now we don't know for sure, but in part, that was part of what led to the downfall of the Roman Empire, because there was a separation of the rich people and regular people. People could do whatever they poor people had trudging along, doing whatever they had to, or for the most part, volunteers, go, become a Roman soldier. Now, studied Roman history, and I'm not really that knowledgeable of it, but I am aware of what was going on, and because one of my division leaders, I was in the Navy. He was a big deal, big guy that was really very much into the Roman Empire, and how our country parallels the same basic things that goes on, and it comes down to that we should be our enemies around the world, but it's not the enemies outside that's going to destroy you. It's the enemies. It's our enemies within that destroy us. It's our own society and our own breakdown of our society that brings down the downfall of great civilizations. The Roman Empire is definitely a prime example of that. Well, that's going on today, and well, we have us. And I'm not taking, believe me, I'm on the fence on this. I'm not taking one side or the other. But we have Black Lives Matter that are popping up and saying, well, they don't seem to realize, well, although they're at the forefront of what's going on, every one of us, every one of us, civilian people here in the United States, we're subjected to that same thing. We're under that. We are basically guilty until proven innocent, which is not what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be innocent until guilty.
Right.
But I myself, I walked into a situation one time where there was a guy I knew, and he was sitting across the street. I lived on a very small street, in a city. But it wasn't really a busy street. But he was sitting over there in front of my neighbor's house, and I guess he was there to see him. Well, I walked out there to see him. Well, I pulled the sheriff, actually 3 sheriff cars, and lo and behold, this guy was dealing guns, selling illegal weapons, and I didn't know anything about it. I had nothing to do with it. And those cops were defiant in the fact that I knew what was going on and I wasn't saying anything. And I was like, how could you do that? I said, I know nothing about this. Before they even checked me, who I was, or anything else, they automatically assumed that I was part of it and that I was involved in that deal that was going on. And it just really hurt me to no end. But that's the way it seems that a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, that's the way law enforcement treats us. That we have to know something about it. We've got to know something about it. You're in on it. You know, you're in with these guys. You're in with these people or whatever.
Right.
It's not the case at all. But that's just that's not exactly part of what we're talking about. But it just kind of puts what's going on in our country and how that Mandela effect, so to speak, goes on. Within our, now if you work every day and you do your job and you just stick to your own little personal little world and you don't step out of that place, well, most people aren't going to be aware of what's going on. It's the ones that are out in the world and seeing what's happening. You're socializing, getting out and visiting with people or with friends and that's when we see this is going on. And it's really sad that it's a breakdown of. It has a lot to do with Nelson Mandela and South Africa. That had to do with people of ethnicity. Here it seems like it has to do with cultural or monetary state. Your position. For instance, now I was told this by a cop one time that was off duty. He was an associate. We weren't really friends, but we knew each other, and he told me that if people that get pulled over, they're driving a BMW or a brand new BMW or a brand new Mercedes, they are usually let go. Now, if you're driving an older model car, tore up or whatever, or not, up to date, they're going to read you the right app. They're going to give you, and it has to do with that. It's a segregation, not so much of your ethnicity, but of your what am I trying to say? Your status in our society. If you're making if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you're going to be treated differently if you get pulled over. Which is really it is kind of true, in a sense. Now they say it's not, but you don't hear about doctors and lawyers being shot, because they were reaching for something in their car or something, they're not shot instantly. It's a regular citizens that are either shot or somehow they get killed in an apprehension. Now, there is a deal. There's a graph in I think it was in Facebook. It's on Facebook of the amount of people who are killed every year by law enforcement, and it goes by white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, and that there are more white people killed by cops than any other of ethnicity in our country, and nothing is said about that. It's only the for whatever reason, and because it's so much part of in our face, and the media is helping to propagate this effect that's going on. They're helping to and they really do. When you see the way they covered the Ferguson situation, I mean, that it was pretty much just in living color right there of what was going on, right in front of our faces. And the media was trying to build up a fervor, helping to fan the fires,
right.
And upset things, and when the media wasn't doing it, our own president helped to make the situation even worse. And that's what's sad. That's what's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And we see what you see that's going on. It's not so much it's not so much ethnicity, although it does include that, because, like you said, we have places in every large city has areas where the Italian community is over here, the Jewish community is over here, the Chinatown is over here, and they stay in their places. They don't go outside their neighborhoods too much to speak of. And it's really, really sad that for the most part, I guess we've just grown acceptable to it, or just don't think nothing of it. We just see it as being part of the way things are. And what can we do to change it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that you see, that's what gave me the idea, and with evidence as well, that something stronger than humans, physically, not a spirit being,
right,
controlling humans. Because no human, whether it be ethnicity of England, Scotland, Africa, Southern, Middle, India, China, no man really has the power to subjugate other men. It's just too hard. Something has set up the caste system, and it's been using, one person in Scotland made a video about it. He said they're using England as the nucleus to rule the world, because even David Icke said, he goes, how does such a small country rule the entire planet?
Yeah.
Everybody speaks English almost.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, this is the new Rome. This is the new Roman Empire, especially when you look at the fact that, which the Roman Empire came from the old Egyptian empires and the Sumerian empire. So there's always some type of force governing humanity, restricting them, holding them back, because we got a power that we don't even know we have. We are more powerful than possibly any being in the universe, and we don't even know it. We've been dumbed down, we've been tempered down, and we see our genius rise every now and then.
Yeah.
Rome being here, one part of it shows that, okay, there's more Italian descendants living in Manhattan, New York, than there are Italians in Rome, Italy. There are more Jewish people in New York City. Now, this is just New York City. Than there are in Tel Aviv, Israel. So it's sort of like when somebody talks about like an invasion of people into their countries, when you look at that, you say, wow. Now, being that they're using Britain as the nucleus, Britain's slaves, their first slaves, were the Irish. And they were brought over here as slaves. A lot of people don't know that. But of course, they were exonerated quickly, because when an Irish slave ran away, he could blend in. And you could find him, because there were no black people at that level, so they owned white slaves. When you look at it, you say, holy smoke. So we got to make a division. We'll let the Irish run the black slaves. They still won't be part of the top clique, but they're going to fall fine because they get their privilege, and they'll still stay. They say thank goodness that they're not black. One guy made a good point. He said, if you ask people in America that aren't black, whether they be Mexican, European descent, Indian, Chinese, whatever, they would not want to be black. Even black people would attest to this that are awake, because of the way that the countries had this caste system that has been imposed, that was probably the same caste system that maybe ancient India or ancient, other cultures had, that these beings are using to control us. So they're using one human, giving them all the technology, and having them subjugate to the human. And the point that I proved for this archaeologically was to show that Columbus's contact was a military assault by something pushing him, maybe with that, or with him knowing allowing it to commit these atrocities for the last 5 centuries is that 7 centuries or 8 centuries before that, 7 centuries when Leif von Erikson came here, that was normal contact between people from the Scandinavian part of the world to the Native American part of the world. And there wasn't a total wipeout. There wasn't people killing each other forever, and there wasn't nuclear bombs being built. Something was found in that 700 years where the Moors had the lower part of Europe under control. Of course, they invaded it. Why did they invade it? The invention of Islam. That was in, I think it was 700, 800. So for 700 years, that's what they call the Dark Ages, when black Moors ruled Spain and part of France. Now, whatever knowledge was hidden was transferred over when the last generals surrendered the last parts of Europe in the year, get this, 1492. That's a funny year. So when Columbus is supposed to have said to make military contact assault over here, that's the same year that these guys were relinquishing the 700-year reign of terror from the religion that was imposed and created by, get this, Judaism. And I had to really research that. I couldn't believe it almost. I had to be like, wait, you're telling me Judaism created Islam? Just the way Judaism created Christianity. Because all he taught, but Christianity and other books go back further into the Sumerian tablets. And that Sumerian tablets go further. So there is something we know. We don't want problems with each other. There is something like the media, without a doubt, is always pushing us to hate each other. These incidents, which, you know, when you see a murder, a guy just raped a girl and got 3 months in jail. He got 6 months because he's a swimmer from some prestigious college. They gave him 6 months. They don't even call it rape. They call it sexual assault. But when this other guy in Colorado, they said he just did 20-something years. He was sentenced to life in prison for growing pot. So you got a nonviolent crime where a guy just got out because of the laws being changed and people seeing that this is not, what they said it is. Let this guy out of jail. He did 20-something years. But then you got a guy that raped somebody, a young college kid who's just, he's going to be he's going to rape again. And then compare that guy who got 3 months out of 6 months. He got on good behavior. A black guy got charged with rape. Of course, it was called rape, not sexual assault, and he got 15, 20 years.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you look at that, you start to say, man, how many articles do I got to read? How many videos do I got to see of cops beating black mothers? One guy took a 12-year-old black teenage girl for a bike, slammed her around. If you look at this video, you're like, why is this guy in a cage? But he's, with a gun, being able to do it to more people because the girl was black. Now, this happened recently, but let's just put it back 40, 50 years, the civil rights. So it's a normal thing. Because if you read the papers from back then, you'll see 6 Negroes shot by police, unarmed. Happening back then even worse, because we had the legal segregation.
But see, that's the thing, though.
But that thing, that put that in the mind of men to do that, how could that not trickle over? It's like having your brother and he's a rapist. But you protect him because he's a rapist until he rapes your wife. And that's what's happening today. Everybody's getting screwed. And they're saying, but it wasn't that way. No, it was always that way. It's the plantation. Slavery is another Mandela effect. It wasn't that long ago. It was about 150 years ago. They said, oh, it's 400 years. No, it started 400 or 500 years ago. And after 150 years, that chunk, 70 of those years, that's the grandparent. So you can have people that have their grandparents and even their parents that were slaves that are still alive today. That are like 110. People, you look at this and you say, man, we have to really, the media and history books, school, religion, all evolution, all that science brainwashes us to stay in this metaphysical limbo.
Well,
I mean, this is just what I see from research, and looking and saying, okay, we can look it up online, so it's not me saying this. We're all together driving a decision. Without a doubt, yes, a lot of guys who whatever you would consider that get killed by the police a year. But when we go to the statistics of unarmed people killed every year, the black population is the highest. I think it was like 1,500 or something. And that's ridiculous. In 1 year, and then you look at places like Iceland that only killed one person in, what, like 20 years or something, or 19 years? You know, and you just look at that and say, what the hell is going on? That's going to make people hate each other. This is a friend of mine told me, he goes, there's a black neighborhood, you know, all over New York. You can go to Long Island in New York and you just look at the segregation. And he goes, man, he's a blonde hair blue guy. And he goes, you know, I was working and, you know, I get dirty looks out there. And I said, look, man, don't even worry about it. I said, you got to remember, those people out there are being treated really fucked up, or excuse my language, fucked up. And the people look like you. I said, so don't think it's you. It's like, look, a guy might be Indian and do something bad to somebody, or even somebody that might, you know, say, oh, you look like a Muslim, whatever, okay, whatever. If that guy does something bad to somebody, I got to be mature enough to realize that this guy might look at me and get that prejudice. So it's really just his ignorance. He doesn't really hate me. He's just ignorant. He doesn't know. I mean, I experienced that in archaeology because somebody could think I'm similar to the guys from Egypt that promote different theories, and I see the bias where I'm like, what is this guy think I'm related to this guy or something? And it's just ignorance. So keeping us ignorant is what lets us, you know, have this bias. And like Mark Twain said, that traveling is a very good thing to reduce your price because you see the truth.
Let me ask you something, Sid. As far as like this parallel universe thing that we were talking about earlier, do you think people like us that see the things that are going on right now in the world maybe have crossed over into this other area? You know what I'm saying? And maybe we're seeing things that we're not supposed to be seeing, you know?
Yeah. Not so much maybe not crossing over, but definitely aware of it. That there is a power outside of our vision that is.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. Okay, it's
like a puppet.
I think what I'm trying to say is the fact that right now, the way I see it anyway, especially with social media and everything else, that we see 80% bad compared to 20% good now than we did 20 years ago. You know?
You're right about that. I noticed that changed in the late 70s.
Yes.
In the 70s, I was a very, very young child. But I remember because I have older siblings. So in the 80s, I kept hearing that music because that's what they listened to. So I grew up knowing soft rock, even hard rock in the 70s, disco, R&B. All of those music were talking about love, let's relax, let's dance, let's be happy.
Right.
And in the 80s, it was a little more techno, but it still wasn't bad. And then I did see it transform into the monster that we see today.
Yeah.
Definitely, there was more love, I think, back then.
But there was more ass whooping too. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, but you know, we used to get our butt kicked as a kid. You don't see that anymore. You dare even look at a kid cross-eyed, you're going to jail. You know? So where did this change take place? I mean,
you have to. I mean, what gets me is that we have people that come out. This machine, this media machine, that could be a generator. Hollywood's wand that cast a spell over us. That could be something that puts us in these parallel or Mandela effects.
right.
The question you asked earlier, Clarence, we are, I think, either, I don't want to say chosen, but I want to say something like, we might not be what we think we are.
Well,
we might be people that can see, that are stuck into a giant herd of human-like capitals. Different types of humans in it. But
Right.
Why aren't they talking? And that's our blood relative, because it goes beyond the flesh. It, without a doubt, goes beyond the flesh. When you improve yourself, you don't improve yourself. People say, "Oh, I improve myself." That's ridiculous. When you really think about what you're saying.
Right.
How can the person that needs to be improved improve themselves? It has to come from somewhere else.
Right.
It has to.
Right.
So that's the thing that really upsets me sometimes. It shouldn't, but it disturbs in a way with science, because I'm so scientific. But then I look at what they have in the media machine, and it is just a lie. Telling people that, okay, because technical science works, the television, the screen, the phone, that gives you the illusion that what we tell you about archaeology and evolution and medicine and food is true. You know it's a lie. You can't tell me a genetically modified food is better than a naturally grown food. And there's real science to prove that. So when I see that, I say, wow, all of these people are following behind the false pseudoscience.
Yes.
And only a few can see the other science. So it clearly, again, shows in a real science way that we either have some type of gift, we either have stumbled upon some type of sight, our mind might have opened, we might have ate something. There's something that's in common that touched all of us to be awakened like that. And it wasn't us, it was something else. So that's, I totally see that as a reality.
You know what's funny? When you mention the fact about being gifted or chosen, because, and I'm not a religious person, okay, but if you read the book of Revelations, which is, you know, don't get me wrong, it's just a dream, but it's been wrote down, okay, it says in there, excuse me, that there was, excuse me, okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, it says in there that there were only 400,000 chosen people. Or 40,000 or something of that nature. Wow. I'd have to look it up.
I think it was Jehovah's Witnesses. They say 144,000, I think.
I think you're right.
They've knocked them a lot.
Wow.
You all right? You got something to drink there, Tom?
Yeah, I got a soda. Anyway, yeah, 144,000. You are correct. That's exactly what it is. Yep, 144,000. So anyway, but that's what the Bible says also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So that's not a very big number.
No.
Yeah, no.
That's the amount of people who are going to be tricked into thinking that their way of thinking is right.
Well, no.
Are going to be far than the people who really have the enlightenment of what really is going on.
No, the 144,000 are the chosen ones that's supposed to go during the rapture or whatever. They're supposed to be the covenant ones. Yeah. Supposedly.
The chosen ones.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But they also are ones that their way of thinking, their way of living helps promote them to be part of the chosen ones. It's not so much that they're different, or their bloodline it makes them different. That they are spiritually opened up to accepting things in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what brings the confusion, because how can a group of people that go to the same church that hear the same sermon, that hear the same thing,
mm-hmm.
but yet there's going to be only a small portion of them that's going to get the true message, the true meaning of the message, and everybody else is going to be out in left field.
Well, that's
you know.
Yeah. No, I understand exactly what you're saying there. But that's for anything though. That's you know, I mean, that's just like us talking like we do here, you know, and we discuss our discussions and stuff, and we hope that people catch on and tend to believe the same way we do. But yet you always get them ones that are trollish, and you know, they'll post things against you, they'll mock you, they do everything in their power that they can to flip everything upside down on top of you, you know?
Right. Because they think that their way of thinking is right, and they're going to well, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, they want to create confusion or create some type of animosity towards people.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
yeah.
Creating problems, creating you know, they're going to throw a wrench into the works, because how could they possibly, you know, how could anybody else possibly be right? Who's right? What is wrong? You know,
mm-hmm.
and so nobody's right and everybody's wrong. Is their way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case with everyone, with all, you know, with all the religious people. But for the most part, they want to create chaos.
Mm-hmm.
They want to create some type of confusion and chaos and be in control of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I think it's funny.
Islamic State, there are people that are called, there's a group of people within the Islam community that are called the Twelvers.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's done any studying of this or knows anything about it, the Twelvers are people who are going to, towards the, in the Quran, they have a type of a wrath too that goes on, just like Armageddon in the Bible. There's a type of Armageddon in the Quran that just as that starts happening, the Twelvers are going to step out and they are going to create more chaos than the world has ever known, and they're going to do it purposely,
mm-hmm.
so that they can be in control of how things are done from that point on.
Mm.
Because if you're in control of the chaos that's being drawn out, you can be in control of how you deal, of how people's mindset goes from that point on. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
You understand what I mean? That people who are in control, who have the controls of creating some type of confusion, they're going to be the ones that are going to have the controls to be able to direct everybody in their way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the destruction. Like how
the destruction.
On the Atlantis page, I get a lot of trolls. I mean, I've had to block people and stuff.
Right.
And all I'm doing is ancient archaeology and alien theology.
Right.
So it's not like I'm saying anything mean to anybody. I'm not dealing with politics. I'm not dealing with racism. I'm dealing with that. And I get trolls that are so crazy. And I had to realize the other day, I said, you know, I'm trying to improve my knowledge of where we come from.
Right.
Because we really don't know.
Right.
And these trolls that I think are like agonizing, or, you know, just bothering, antagonizing and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
are really destroyers. Because I'm trying to build and improve. And anybody like we're trying to do right now is build and improve. For somebody to call or leave comments and stuff that's not really good to it, it falls under the definition, it's destructive.
Right.
So they're the destroyers, and we're the builders.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's the thing that steers maybe even whatever it is that created the physical body that inhabits us.
Mm-hmm.
Or because we know that there's things that spiritually, you know, and beyond that, because immoral. You know, because you know when you need help or you're sick or something, you know, you say, man, that's when it really hits you.
Right.
All the times you've been mean or whatever like that. So we see that kindness and stuff like that is, it is something that goes beyond the physical. But of course in school, but to get somebody to believe in the theory of evolution and being atheist gets you to say, I can get away with it because nothing is going to be there. There's nothing beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, you know, when we look at that, that has really people become immoral to say, well, wait a minute, you're telling me that if you're a bad person, if you kill people, if you're a murderer, like you see these stories about people, and you say, so you're telling me that there's no difference between that guy and the guy who lives a good life, and then we both, you know, go into what we don't know, created death. Death is to make us think that we die. All ancient cultures call it the afterlife. So life never ends. But this imposition that we've had for the last 500 years took that away. Even if you look at the old Celtics, they say they were so believing, they say, hey, if I lend you money on the battlefield, you pay me back in the next life. So that's how much belief and realism that they knew about this. And that can also be looked at as a parallel universe and also part of the Mandela effect. To say, maybe we don't even remember some of the stuff. There's a lot of documentaries. The Boy Who Lived Tomorrow, or the Boy Who Fell Through Yesterday. There's a lot of, I'd say about 4 different cases of young boys at 10 years old saying, I was reincarnated here. One, I think, in the Middle East, more towards Russia-ish, he led them to a place where he said he was murdered, and they found the skull with the axe mark in it.
Right. Yeah.
Years before he was born.
Right.
So you look at these cases, this is what modern science doesn't want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stuff, the power of the human stare. There's a book about that. See, when you stare at somebody, there's a power. I mean, if they can put an electrode in your head and get brainwaves out of it, why wouldn't those brainwaves come through your eye where there's no skull, even though it's apple?
Right.
Exactly. So, we have a lot of stuff that, but with the trolls, that they are the destroyers, like we were saying. I totally see. I think that's I call them that because it reminds me and keeps it more real of what they are. Say, this person is just trying to destroy what I'm creating, and I just block them now instead of even responding because it gets so crazy. And then friends of those people, I'll see them create a bias for me. And I'm just like, man, I'm producing content of ancient archaeology, taking pictures, going on places, going to countries, and I got people trolling me for that. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It really is ridiculous. But we're better than that, and that's, I think, why they're mad.
That's very possible, and makes more sense. Yeah.
Something else along that line too is that I'm not so much atheist. I'm not an atheist, but I'm getting away from getting away from religion, because religion has zombified our culture, our way of thinking, and it seems like most religion is that way. They control people's thoughts, the way people do their thing or whatever. For the most part, in our culture here, that was started from where? From King's Church, from the Church of Peking, from that was brought about to bring in control of the people. That's why Christian religion really took a hold in about 1100 when the Bible, when the compilation of the Bible was put together, so that the kings and the rulers of the people could have something to control the people with, the mass population of people, and control the way they did things. And some people think that I'm way off in left field with this, but hear me out, y'all. This is something that's very real and very much part of our society today. That even when we go to court, if you go to the courthouse, you have to put your hand on the Bible and say, do you tell the truth? You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah, I can't do
The fear
that.
of God into you, instilling the fear of God into you to do what's right.
Yeah.
Compelling you to do what's right. And this was all brought about by the kings of England. And they're the ones that were pretty much in control of how the world sees religion today. Outside of now with Japan being the one area that was so because they're an isolated nation. They're an island nation, and they're isolated from the main cultural influences from other places. Zen Buddhists in Japan, they stay true to their heritage, and if you read about the Zen Buddhists, the first starter of that way of thinking came from the stars. Was a visitor that came from the stars, that came to Earth to give us direction, to give them the way, and up until the Second World War, that's the way Japan was. Their culture is completely different. Our way, it was so hard for us to understand how kamikazes could go kill themselves for the right of what they were doing, but that was their mindset, their way of thinking. Their whole culture is completely different, and for the most part, now they have got a lot of influences now, but the Japanese people in the whole, that the cities there, they live pretty harmoniously within a very strict confine of control. Yeah, a perfect example of this, if you want to really kind of get an idea of it, is Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. He has a deal. There's one of his shows. He goes to Tokyo, and it really showed what life in Japan is like outside of what we're told. It's the true factual nature of how people are in Japan, and that will give you a start of it. Now there's many other things that you can read. There's a book. Now it's not the World War I version; it's the World War II version of the bombers that were flying into that were working around areas of interest around Japan and Okinawa.
Right.
And like Iwo Jima was part of the island. Well, it was an island that's called Chichijima. Now, anybody who's done any research or paid any attention to President George H.W. Bush, he was one of the bomber pilots that shot down outside of Chichijima. Now, Chichijima was an island that the United States wanted to have a coal deposit because the ships could not sail all the way to Hong Kong from the west coast of the United States to Hong Kong. They couldn't make it all the way with one load of coal. They had to have a replenishment island set up somewhere. So they set up Chichijima to be that island. But that's just part of it. But that book, if you read that book, it will really, really give you an eye-opening experience of how the Japanese culture really was. Because their way of thinking is so different than the Western nation from the Western European domination that we live under today here in this country. It gives you an understanding of how other people are. But that's part of the duality of what we have in our society here today. Is we have I guess like a Mandela effect going on like that. That anybody who's
Well, that's not really the Mandela effect, though. That's, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't mean it to make the Mandela effect, but it's part of it. It kind of compromises part of a big part of what's going on.
Right.
And our way of thinking and our mindset and how we're controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And what controls us. You know.
Well.
And oftentimes we are controlled and don't even know we're being controlled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the part that like for me, when I began becoming enlightened and learning more outside of. See, I was one of the kids. I went to a Catholic school. I went to parochial school when I was a kid, and I was told to do this, to live this way. I went through all the deals. You know, I was an altar boy and did all that stuff. You know, I did the whole thing. I've done just about every Catholic
thing, right?
That there is. I've done the midnight mass, Christmas midnight masses. I've done funerals. I've done baptismals. I've done you name it. I've been there and done that, and so I grew up, you know, under that I guess that's covered or that stubbornness, shininess. So and as I learned more, as I started getting opened up and learning more, and seeing how that control that goes on has been going on, still going on today. How people are being controlled by most time by religion. It creates a duality within within us, you know, around us. You know, we become of a we call it what's it called, a brouhaha. A brouhaha.
Yeah.
You know, that so to speak. You know, you know, to put it in lesser words, that's what you know. We're not. We have so many things that are kept from us, that are true, that are real.
Oh, absolutely.
Began becoming enlightened, and I began opening up to the true big picture of the all in all, and I began seeing how what was being taught to us in school is a sham. You know, and number one, I can't. I'll sit down. I'll come across some type of article or something, and I want to read about or hear about what somebody said or what somebody has written about archaeology, for instance, ancient archaeology. Because I'm so much into studying that I'll just use that as a for instance. There's so much that we understand. We see that there's. I'll sit down for it and listen to a presentation of Egyptian culture, of Egyptian dynasties, and I'll listen to what they have to say. And most of the time, within 5 minutes, I'm turning it off because they're lying. It's all about lies, and I'm going, I can't listen to this crap. This is bullshit. You know, and I won't allow myself to listen to that. But that is what's being propagated in our schools today, in our universities are doing the same thing. They're teaching that to the students. They're teaching that to people that this is the truth. This is the way things are, and it's not. You know, and when you find out that it's a sham, you're like, well, how can that be? And it's like there's where it comes in. Where it seems to me like there's a powers that be are in control that we know not of. We don't know who it is that's in control of what
Well,
that's being said and how it's being said.
Here's the thing that gets me. We have all these amendments to the Constitution, and one of them is, the free speech and all of that stuff, And then you stop and you think about our media, which we have now, and how they control the masses by putting this out and putting that out, and they go back and forth and back and forth, and they got people believing, in so much garbage, and it's just ridiculous. So, and even our mainstream internet, with our socialism and all that stuff we got going on there, and where you should be able to research, but it's not easier anymore. It's harder now than it used to be, where you would go to the library and open up a book, and whatever that book said, well, you have to base your deal on that, because that's, there it is in black and white. That's all we had. Well, now we got the internet. But with all this trolling and all of the misconceptions and the misguidance that we got going on, who's to say what's right and wrong anymore? So, it just makes it harder for people. Anything that's out here to be a useful tool has been corrupted one way or the other. I guess it's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah. And it is there. I mean, the one test that I had to realize, I say, okay, if somebody asked me, how do you really know if it's right? And the best thing I could come up with was, I know it's right because I wouldn't want it done to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody would say, hey, we're developing that country or whatever, I said, when you look at certain countries and places, it's like, you see what's happening, and you see that it's something behind, not just the U.S. government, but many governments, to where we think that these governments are separate.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's a push to corrupt almost everything, and this isn't even in the last 20 years. Richard Pryor did an interview. You probably find it in black and white. It was, so it might have been the 50s, 60s, and he talked about the good people who will change things can't seem to get into positions. Mm-hmm. And I realized, I said, well, if you were going to control people, you can't control moral people.
Right.
So people have a moral hearing to say, look, you wouldn't want that done to you. That's not right to do. You shouldn't go and just drop bombs and try to kill somebody, and then you kill a whole bunch of innocent people
right.
in the midst of that. That's
right.
not right.
Right.
So then you look at that, and then you say, well, the only way you can't get a good person. So they have to breed immorality, and that's what they do. They breed immorality. All governments do this. Any kind of authority or subservience to that government makes you more immoral.
Sure.
So the people that think of breaking laws, like we know that killing, so isn't right. I mean, if it's in self-defense, that's one thing, because you have the self-preservation. So we have enough common sense, but they want the average person not to have that common sense. They want them to say, hey, government, what should I do? Call the police. They won't get there in time to save your life, but,
right.
It's better than you taking matters into your own hands, because we don't want you thinking, because if too many of you think, then you'll see that you don't need us.
Right.
And that's something that, we send our children to school. I realize that's how they control it. Mm-hmm. Because the only thing that can change it are the children. The children are the future. And look at the adults, especially 40s and above.
Yeah.
We are responsible for keeping the world the way it was, because we listen to the people older than us.
Right.
So we don't want to be those people. And this is why people get angry when I tell teenagers, any teenagers who are out doing some type of fundraising for sports, I tell them, hey man, just keep the money and go quit school, get a job, run a trade, and get your GED. The
Right.
to shut your parents up. So you got that. And that staying stuff. I tell people the smartest thing I think I ever did was leave high school. I mean, I went directly into the military. I figured, okay, so what? I didn't graduate high school.
Right.
I didn't want to. It would have taken another 2 years. But I completed my military service, and I have an honorable discharge.
Right.
You know, I also have one from the reserve. So
right.
you look at that and you say, man, they're trying to tell me I'm a dropout, but I never looked at it as I dropped out. I always look at it as I left.
Right.
I used to go to school to meet people and then hang out because it's like Terrence McKenna said. He said, alienation is the price that you have to pay to an extent to preserve your sanity in this society.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all a little bit alienated because we don't do the average thing that the circus demands.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big circus, man. Your problem is right.
Yeah.
It's a big circus, and when you're born in America, you get a front seat ticket.
Looks like we have another caller with us. This is a 804 area code. I believe I recognize this number. Is this Bob? I think it is. Hello, sir. You're on 804. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Is this Bob? Yeah.
No, this is Magneto.
Oh, Magneto. Yes.
Oh, Magneto.
Gotcha. Okay. This is the gentleman that went to Egypt and lived there for a while. Yes. Pretty cool.
Oh, you remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yes. I remember it. I remember it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you are, man. I know who you are.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I love your conversations. That's cool. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So what do you think, Magneto? Do you have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? I mean, do you believe in that, or?
Yeah, I had heard about it, but I don't, like you said, I don't know about it,
Right.
I just don't know about it.
Mm.
Break it down.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it?
How do I explain it in a reasonable way? It's when you have. Yeah, go ahead.
A cognitive dissonance in sort of a way, to where like you think that Jif peanut butter is really Jiffy peanut butter, that's the Mandela effect. If you think that Oscar Mayer is Elsa N-E-Y-R instead of M-A-Y-E-R, Mandela. If you think that something happened that didn't really happen. So like somebody says, I don't believe that something existed in the past. I don't believe that we dropped a nuke on Japan. That could be a Mandela effect.
Right.
So that's why I kind of put this cognitive dissonance in a way, but it's definitely, close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, one that really stand out to be August the 8th. Do that thing stand out?
August the 8th.
August the 8th, I was feeling real strange. I was thinking myself, putting both hands to my head and squeezing it. And I said, well, let me see what the date is.
Mm-hmm.
And my birthday is August the 25th, So that was a strange day for me. I never felt like that,
Wow. You have any idea what it was, or?
It's a nausea feeling, right? But I'm healthy and everything. I don't have no high blood pressure or nothing like that. But I was just feeling strange that I was squeezing my head up, like I had a headache or something. There wasn't no headache. I was squeezing my head like a normal person would do.
Do you know what it was that happened on that date?
Say it one more time.
Do you know what took place on August 8th?
Oh, no, it was a normal day, you know. Yeah, it was a normal day.
I may be wrong about this. Forgive me if I am. So I know somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. I think August 8th, 1945 is the day that Hiroshima was bombed with a nuclear bomb. The first time the nuclear weapon was used against against another country in a time of war. It was August 8th, 1945.
Oh, man. That's a nice connection there. But that they stood out. It's going to be, you know. And another thing that I've been doing, since going to Egypt, right? And feeling like this, it's just like I can't put my finger on it, but I just came attracted to, static electricity and the energy, how the body generates the electricity and how you, ground yourself and just universal energy. And just start doing sheer research and everything. When we squeeze a battery like the Pyro effect or the Casio effect, you familiar with that?
Say that again?
Casio effect. The Casio effect. Yeah, where you would take a quartz and put it in the refrigerator and let it get cold. Bring it out and shoot some voltage to it while it's attached to you. But I found out when you squeeze out of it, they call it electrolysis, but when you fool it with batteries, that consists of the pyramids, right? That was through the pyramids, right?
Wow.
Batteries. Yeah. And I learned that when you squeeze the battery, you get oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, you get all your ions, all your acids. I mean, you get all of these trace minerals that's basically made up of the universe, destroying all the ground. Because when you take sodium and sodium and potassium and fermentation, you get your acid and your zinc, So I guess we ran with batteries and quartz, right? And come to find out, quartz is has 5 oxygen atoms in it, right? Now, have you heard of this disease? I heard it, this elderly white lady pronounced this disease called sarcoma.
Wow. That's something.
This is what sarcoma is, right? When you urinating your bones and your mind. And know how you can tell? By catching your urine and letting it rest. Most people will have calcium deposits,
right.
In their stool.
Right.
And see what I'm saying? And cut it out their water. Water has 15,000 percent.
Wow.
9,000 chemicals and 6,000 disinfectants.
Ain't that something?
And this another coincidence. Before I went to Egypt and everything, I was into the urine thing, catching my urine and see what the after effect, how would it break down, And this what I was getting. I was getting calcium and they call it urea, but this is a devil
The uric acid.
Stylo gout and arthritis. Arthritis and gout is formed by uric acid building up in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have gout. I know how that works.
Yeah. You know, if you urinate and you look at it and it's cloudy, that means your lymph system is working. You know, if it's clear, that means you're not filtering as much as you should.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that also, and there's also, it's a therapy. You can cure yourself. There's a book called Urine and Your Own Medicine, using certain aspects of the urine if you're not on antibiotics or something like that.
Wow.
So it's definitely a healing. We contain our own medicine. Urine is very sterile, as opposed to what many people would basically have a Mandela effect of thinking that it's not. Like many people,
Right.
A teaspoon or something like that of the urine, because if you get a sniffle, how your body is looking for that virus that's in you. If you drink a teaspoon of your urine only after you rest, because something happens when the body rests to build the antibody in urine. So when you urinate, you put that under your tongue, and the body will see the antibodies that you create it right away, and you'll get well, like within, say, 24 hours. So I've noticed that there's a lot of natural medicines and stuff that can cure things that they don't tell us. And that's a big part of being not free, because you have to take that freedom back and say, look, if I'm healthy, I can think straight. So you got to keep the nation unhealthy. You got to keep the nation dumbed down. And that's what, you know, you have the media, the school. They talk to children about certain subjects. A lot of people geographically can't find certain things on the map. And when you ask them to answer certain questions about maybe cities or countries around the world, they're clueless. Mm-hmm. And then if you ask them something about a media question that's meaningless, you see they know it. You ask them, what leaf does this tree go to, or which does this represent?
Right.
Which tree? And they don't know. Now, these are important. They can't read the sky. They can't read the wind, the air. They don't understand basic things for survival. Mm-hmm. You know, if in the daytime, if you're lost, you know, you can basically find your way if you can see the sun in the sky, or, you know, understand where it's at, because you rise in the east and that's in the west. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. So, did you know there's a lot of people that believe that there's more than 50 states in America? Seriously. Some people think that there are literally 52 states. Yeah.
Is that the same one that think that the world is flat?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. 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 A lot of people think that there's 52 states. So, yeah, it's amazing. Totally amazing.
Well, actually, there is. If you include Puerto Rico and Guam.
Oh no.
Those are staterhoods. Now they're staterhoods, but they still fly the American flag.
Right.
Puerto Rico and Guam and the Philippines. Actually, now the Philippines, I think they got away from there. But I know, Filipinos and Guamanians and Puerto Ricans can join the United States military.
Huh.
They're the only people outside of U.S. citizens that can join the U.S. military by not being a U.S. citizen.
Wow. I mean, that's something.
Did you know that?
No, I never knew that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They're statehoods. They're not completely states yet. Like, Hawaii was a statehood during World War II, during the outbreak of Pearl Harbor and all that. Hawaii was a state at that time. Mm-hmm. It was not a state yet. There were still only 48 states when in 1941 when we got involved in during all of World War II. Mm-hmm. There was only 48 states.
Well, the Marines went to Hawaii and took the Queen out by force.
Right. Yeah.
It's to link that article. They have pictures.
Yeah.
They went there. She wouldn't give up her island, and they took the Queen of Hawaii, and that's how they made it a state.
Right.
And they made all the natives were married to, marry this guy, like kind of like what the British did to India.
Right, right.
You know, so definitely something gave them the power to do that because it wasn't a normal contact. This thing created the Industrial Revolution. It creates all the
90 seconds.
And it uses religion as a form of mental control. You can clearly see that. I mean, it went all the way back, even to the Sumerian tablets. It's always about worship.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I always had a problem with worship. You know, to worship something, I would say, wait a minute, do you want your kids to worship you, or do you want them to love you?
Right.
And that always never stacked good with when I've seen the subservience in the Hinduism and in all of
60 seconds.
You know, and then everything I read about these entities, I'm like, these guys are extraterrestrials, and then there are, you know, spiritual parts of it, but that's the real deep part. When we start that gives us more than the physical universe. That's when we get into the metaphysical and the spiritual, which is what this fraud called modern science tries to think that they know everything.
Right.
We know there's more than that, you know, until they say there's parallel universes or, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we have these other universes, and then on top of that, the plant world with mushrooms and vines that send you into other dimensions, and then the dream world on top of that. That's a whole different realm.
Sure.
So when we look at these different
10 seconds.
reality, it blows away anything modern or, you know, what I call the religion of evolution starts to propose to us.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, gentlemen, looks like we ran out of time already. We were getting a countdown there while we were talking, but yeah. But I tell you what, we're going to have another show tomorrow night, and I'd like to pick it back up where we left off here tonight, if that's okay. I hope everybody can come back. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And this is something I want to leave, right? Algorithm. You think our brains have the original algorithm where it's synthetic to ours?
Hmm.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility. There's a possibility there, that's for sure.
And see, that's why I'm trying to make the connection between these algorithms, battle algorithms, along with static. You know, the static, that twisted. I believe that when you play with static, you enhance this algorithm in your brain, you know. You know how they used to say, what goes up must come down. It's the opposite of that. What goes down must come back up. Because our brain cells go down, come back up. Sound will go down, come and go back up. And if you look at nature, the universe, it's that same relation.
Wow. That'd be something different.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I tell you what, we can talk about it, you know, no doubt about it, you know. Give us a holler tomorrow night, same time, and yeah, we'll throw it around. That'd be cool.
Okay. And see, I guess myself, I don't like to be with nobody for my own company, you know.
Right.
And I was noticing the fact that you was giving on that. When I get off from work, I just want to go home and just do me, you know.
I hear you.
Not depressed, you know.
Right.
But just type of guys.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, we're going to have to shove off for tonight anyway, and like I said, we'll do another show tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and you know, that'd be interesting to find out. That'd be cool. We can talk about that. So, well, anyway, I appreciate everybody calling in, and you know, I hope everybody can make it back tomorrow night. That'd be awesome. So, all right.
I'm down.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I really appreciate it. All right.
Thanks, folks.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you, Kim. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look like we got cut off here a little bit, but that's okay. Join us tomorrow night. In the meantime, keep your eyes to the sky. Thank you.
seconds.